Yes. Very good evening, my dear students. So today I'm going to start with the next topic about the neural control and coordination topic. So today's class is going to be very important because we're going to talk about especially the brain. So last day what we have talked about, if you remember, in the last very class what we have talked about the parts of the brain. We have talked about there are three parts of the brain. First, the study of the brain is called encephalology. The three parts of the brain, one is, and also we know that the brain is a part of the central nervous system because it is one out of the two which comes under central nervous system. One is brain and one is spinal cord. So brain is having three parts. The first one is called forebrain, which is also called as prosencephalon. The second is about midbrain or mesencephalon. The third one is hindbrain or rhombencephalon. Today, before we get into what NCERT has got to say, we need to talk about many things about the brain. If you remember, have we talked about the meninges in the last very class? I think we haven't talked about meninges. Have we? No. Chalo to dekh lete hain. First, let us get into the details of the brain and especially about the meninges first, and then we are going to get into the next part. So normally in the last very class we have talked about the brain. We can classify into three. The first one is called prosencephalon, encephalon, prosencephalon. The second one is called mesencephalon, mesencephalon, and the third one is called as rhombencephalon, rhombencephalon, rhombencephalon. It is also called as hindbrain. This is midbrain. Mesencephalon. Mes means what? Middle. Encephalon means brain. So it's also called as midbrain. So क्या कहते हैं इसको? इसको midbrain भी कहते हैं. And then this one, prosencephalon, pro and encephalon means it's a forebrain part. It's a forebrain part. Now, in this particular part of prosencephalon, forebrain, we have classified this into two. Forebrain we have classified into two. One is called cerebrum. One is cerebrum. Other one is diencephalon. Other one is diencephalon. Now this diencephalon is having two parts. One is hypothalamus and the one is thalamus. Hypothalamus and the one is thalamus. Okay. Now, before you get into this, so broad classification, we can classify them into three main parts of the brain. Now, if you see, in the stage where it was completely an embryonic stage, जब human baby का development होता है, these are the three. The whole brain looks like a three tube. So they look like a three tubes. And this tube is a part of the neural tube. This tube is a part of the neural tube. Neural tube. है ना? जैसे आप मेले में जाते हो तो कहीं बैलून खरीदते हो आप, तो क्या होता है वो लंबा सा बैलून यहाँ से फुलाओगे तो जहां पे इलास्टिसिटी ज्यादा है वहां पे फूल जाएगा ऐसे. So in the front part, what is this portion? This is called prosencephalon. 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 Okay, prosencephalon. What is this part? This is mesencephalon. Mesencephalon. Or midbrain. What is this? This is rhombencephalon. Rhombencephalon. Clear? Now, सोचो, in the embryonic stage, जब आपका brain development हो रहा है, this was the condition of your neural tube. तो जहां पे bulge out हो गया है, it has now become what? The forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Now, further, what happens to this prosencephalon? It divides into two and forms like this. It divides into two and forms like this. This is one. This is two. Then there is a third one. And then this is the fourth one. So how many bulge out portion you have seen now? This prosencephalon has been divided into two portions. Let's make it like this. See, the prosencephalon has been divided into first part and second part. What is the first part? If this is the neural tube, it is the tail end of the neural tube, last mein hai. So last mein hai, that's why we are going to call it as telencephalon. We're going to call it as telencephalon because it is present in the tail region. Tail end mein hai, last mein, telencephalon. What is this? If this is telencephalon, what is this? This has now become what? Diencephalon. It has become what? Diencephalon. So what is telencephalon? Other term for telencephalon is what? Cerebrum. Other term for telencephalon is cerebrum. That means forebrain has been divided into cerebrum and diencephalon. See, forebrain has been divided into cerebrum and diencephalon. Is this clear? This is what happens in the embryonic stage. What is this one? This is mesencephalon. So this has remained same. This is mesencephalon or midbrain. Now you can see this rhombencephalon or hindbrain have been divided into two such portions. This portion where it contains pons and cerebellum. Pons and cerebellum is called as metencephalon. Is called as metencephalon. And this portion is called medulla oblongata. And this medulla oblongata portion is also called as myelencephalon. So tell me, how many parts are there? If you classify them, there are 5 different types. You see, this is first telencephalon, diencephalon. What is this? Midbrain. 4 is metencephalon, and the 5th one is myelencephalon, which is nothing but medulla oblongata. So what is the other term for myelencephalon? It is also called as medulla oblongata. Is this clear? Got the idea what is how the brain forms during the embryonic stage? This is how it forms in the embryonic stage. So in the embryonic stage, what is there? Initially, there is only a neural tube. And if you just inflate it, अगर एक balloon है, यहाँ से हवा दोगे, तो यहाँ पे जाकर वो फूल जाएगा. यही फूला हुआ portion कुछ दिन बाद, it is going to get divided into these two. One is called telencephalon and diencephalon. Midbrain will remain the same. Mesencephalon will remain the same. But rhombencephalon is going to get classified into two. One is metencephalon, which is pons and cerebellum together, and myelencephalon, which is called medulla oblongata. And then what is going to come out? It is a spinal cord, and later we are going to talk about. This is the other part of the central nervous system. Is this clear? Yahan tak clear hai? Any issues? Sure. So this is it. Now, if this is the brain, if this is the cerebrum, last day we talked about, fine, this is the front portion of the body. The outermost covering of the brain is covered by what? Skull. And the study of skull is called cranium. The study of skull is called cranium. And there is an inner layer. There is an inner covering which also covers the whole of the central nervous system. What is this? This is meninges. What is this? This is meninges. So skull is the first protective device and meninges is the second protective device. Why? Because it protects. It protects whom? It protects the cerebral hemisphere. It protects the cerebral hemisphere. Got the idea? So these are the two cerebral hemisphere. This is the right cerebral hemisphere. This is the right cerebral hemisphere. Right cerebral hemisphere. And this is left cerebral hemisphere. Left cerebral hemisphere. These two gets joined by hemispheres. These two gets joined by a nervous band of fibers called corpus callosum, which is a unique feature of all mammalian brain. Which is a unique feature of all mammalian brain. This is corpus callosum. Found only in the mammalian brain. Vishal, is this clear? Now, so that means if there has been an injury, the skull is going to first protect it. This is cranium, skull. And the second protection layer is meninges. Let us talk about this meninges, because this meninges, ये एक single layer नहीं है. It's not made up of only one single layer. It was shown in blue, so let us talk in blue one. This is meninges. ये meninges है. And if you see in the meninges, there are three particular coverings. There are three particular coverings. And what is those three coverings? The first one is D, the second one is A, and the third one is P. How to remember? From outside in, it is DAP, DAP. What does D stands for? D stands for dura mater. A stands for arachnoid. P stands for pia mater. Now, in between dura mater and arachnoid, can you see a space present? This space is called subdural space. This space is called subdural space. And this space contains a fluid. Come on, tell me what is the name of the fluid? CSF. Cerebrospinal fluid. Between arachnoid and pia mater. Arachnoid and pia mater, there is a space. What is that called? The space is called as subarachnoid space. Subarachnoid space. And this subarachnoid space, it also contains what? CSF. And in the last class, we have talked about the cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is produced from anterior and posterior choroid plexus. Anterior and posterior choroid plexus. This is very, very important. Cerebrospinal fluid, what is the amount that they are produced in a day in human body? They are produced at the rate of 20 milliliter per day. This is the amount of CSF which is being produced by anterior and posterior choroid plexus. बोलो यहाँ तक clear है? Any issues up to this? समझ में आया क्या? What is CSF?
Is there any displacement or increasement in that amount?
Yeah, it can occur due to some viral problems like meningitis. What happens during meningitis? There's an inflammation in the meninges. Fine. Have you heard about this meningitis? There's a disease called meningitis. There is a disease called meningitis. Itis means inflammation. So inflammation of meninges. There's nothing but inflammation of meninges called meningitis. It's very, very important. So this is when the meninges gets inflated and the amount differs. The amount of CSF differs. यहाँ तक clear है ना? Now let's get into the cerebrum part. Last day I think I have talked about cerebrum. I have talked about the functions of cerebrum. Yes, I have talked about gyri and sulci. I have talked about gyri and sulci. ये जो ब्रेन है यहाँ पे क्या है ना? ग्रे मैटर और व्हाइट मैटर है नहीं है? ग्रे मैटर कहाँ पे है? बाहर की तरफ, अंदर की तरफ. In the brain, the gray matter is outside, white matter is inside. Gray matter is outside, white matter is inside. So what is gray matter? That means the cyton is present towards what? The gray matter. And the axon gives the characteristics white color. So axon किस तरफ है? Axon white की तरफ है. And that's why that makes the white matter. Last day I think we have talked about this. Yes? So the cyton, cyton किस तरफ है? Cyton gray matter की तरफ है. और axon किस तरफ है? Axon is there towards the white matter. Now you can see these curves. More these curves are present. And what are these curves called? What are these curves called? Gyri and Salci. Gyri and Salci. So what is gyrus? Sulcus means depression. This is sulcus. Sulcus in plural is called Salci. And this is gyrus. This is gyrus, and the plural of gyrus is gyri. So more the gyri and Salci, the more what you can expect. The neuron surface area बढ़ जाएगा, जितना gyri and Salci रहेगा, उतना neuron का number बढ़ेगा, घटेगा, number बढ़ेगा. So cyton of the neuron is present towards the gyri, not towards the gyri, towards the gray matter, and this is what is white matter, because axon is present in the white matter section. So जितना ज़्यादा gyri Salci होगा, more is the surface area. जितना surface area बढ़ेगा, that is going to ultimately increase in what? The IQ level, intelligence quotient. It is going to help in increasing the intelligence. Any issues about this? Come on. Bolo. Any problem? And that is why you know that the function of cerebrum is to help. It acts as a seat of intelligence. It acts as a seat of intelligence. It also helps in the seat of memory. Seat of memory. It stores all the past experiences. It stores all the past experiences. And all the voluntary functions are also done by this. And that's why they are the skill center. They are called as a skill center. So lastly, we have talked about this. Now, cerebrum ke part mein, as because cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. Let us talk about this. Out of this whole brain, cerebrum, only cerebrum, it is the largest part of the brain. Largest part of the brain. Close to 70 to 80% of the brain is cerebrum. We know exactly that the hindbrain is having three portions. Number one, it's a medulla oblongata. What is it? Medulla oblongata. The second one is pons varoli, and the third one is what? Cerebellum. Cerebellum. एक चीज याद रखो. Cerebellum and cerebrum sounds close. सुनने में क्या लग रहा है? एक ही तरह का है बाबा. सेरिब्रम में कितने लेटर है? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 लेटर है सेरिब्रम में, वो लार्जेस्ट है. सेरिब्रम में कितना लेटर है? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 है. जो बड़ा है असल में वो छोटा है. इट इज अ लिटिल ब्रेन. जो बड़ा है असल में वो याद रहेगा. जस्ट ऑपोजिट. इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ लिटिल ब्रेन. इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज अ लिटिल ब्रेन. फाइन. ओके चलो. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट. And midbrain में दो part है. Last day we talked about. Midbrain is having two portions. Come on, help me. One is corpora quadrigemina and the one is cerebral peduncle. Cerebral peduncle. Corpora quadrigemina and cerebral peduncle. Okay. Let's get into this. Okay. So this is the brain portion. Okay. आपको समझ में आ रहा है ये कौन सा पोर्शन क्या कैसे बना रहे हैं इसको? हाउ वी आर मेकिंग दिस. चलो ऐसे बना लो. ये कौन सा पार्ट है? ये फोरहेड है आपका. दिस इज योर फोरहेड. ओके, दिस इज योर फोरहेड. ओके, समझ में आ रहा है? नोट्स थोड़ा ज्यादा अच्छा हो गया. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? समझ में आ रहा है? हाँ. सो दिस इज द back side of the brain, okay, back side of the head. So समझ में आ रहा है ये position? This position is dorsolateral section. Dorsolateral section of the brain. समझ में आ गया? Dorsolateral section of the brain. समझ में आ रहा है ना? Now, यहाँ पे देखो. This particular area, this area is called frontal lobe. क्या कहते हैं इसको? This area is called frontal lobe. So this area है ना? ये एरिया क्या है? If you see it like this area is the frontal lobe. अब ये एरिया क्या है? Temporal. How many skull bone are there? 8. Can you name them? यहाँ पे दिखा रहे हैं. Then we are going to get into that. Skull. How many bones are there? 8 bones are there. Tell me number 1. Frontal bone. Fine. Frontal. कितने सारे बोन है? 1 बोन है. Then second, temporal. Temporal, 2 bones are there. These two are temporal. These two are parietal. So parietal, 2 of them. साइड में देखो parietal 2 है. एकदम पीछे यहां पे एक है occipital 1 bone. Ethmoid 1 bone. Sphenoid 1 bone. In total they have got 8 bones. स्कल में 8 bones है. अब देखो लोब में भी हम ये 4 पढ़ेंगे. Frontal lobe is 1. This one is temporal lobe. This is temporal lobe. ओके ये क्या होगा? एकदम नीचे occipital lobe. और यहां पे क्या होगा? This is parietal lobe. So there are 4 lobes in the cerebrum. Okay, now let us talk about this. The gap between ये जो बीच में यहां पे there is a particular section which we call it as a central sulcus. क्या कहते हैं इसको? We call it as central sulcus or Rolandic sulcus. Rolandic sulcus. Clear? Very good. Over here, okay. Over here, there is a sulcus. Which is called as parieto-occipital sulcus. Parietal-occipital sulcus. Occipital sulcus. Fine. This particular portion. This is called temporal sulcus. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Temporal sulcus. इसका और एक नाम क्या है? The other term for this is temporal sulcus is also called as Sylvian sulcus. Now ये लोब के बारे में बात किया गया है. Now let us talk about the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe. देखो इधर. Okay, let us classify this. This is the area of the brain, area of the cerebrum. This is location, कहाँ पे रहता है, and the function of it. Vishal, is this clear? So area. The first area is about prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex. Location क्या है? Present where? In the frontal lobe. थोड़ा देख लो कहां पे होगा prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is present over here. This is the region where the prefrontal cortex is present. This is prefrontal cortex. Present in the frontal lobe. Function क्या है इसका? What is the function of it? Prefrontal cortex. बोलो maximum cerebrum का जो functions बोला गया है. Think about intelligence, memory, reasoning, skill, voluntary movements will come out over here. So it is a seat of intelligence, memory. बोलो एग्जाम के समय जब सोचते हो क्या सोचते हो? Sometimes you tap. वो क्या था? Think about this is the area which helps you to memorize things. ठीक है? So intelligence, memory, sometimes reasoning, done by the prefrontal cortex. This is the first one, prefrontal cortex. The second part in the same area, prefrontal area. In the prefrontal area, what is present over here? This is the area where Broca's area is present. Broca's area. What is Broca's area? Last day I think I have talked about this. What is the meaning of Broca's area? बोलो ब्रोकाज एरिया फंक्शन क्या होगा इसका? What is the function of Broca's area? What do you think?
Speech center.
Speech center. Very good. Location क्या होगा? Frontal lobe. Frontal lobe. And the function of Broca's area is acts as a speech center. It acts as a speech center. Speech center. Broca's area. That is also there in the frontal lobe. Come on. Any other place where you can see. This is the area. See? The next area is present over here, just close to the central sulcus. यहाँ पे एक area है. Let us make it like this. This area is called motor area. This area is called motor area. So, motor area. The third one is motor area. And motor area is also present where? In the frontal lobe. कहाँ पे रहता है? In the frontal lobe. इसका function क्या है? इसका function क्या होगा? Motor. Motor means voluntary actions. Sensory inputs will be taken up to the midbrain and then it will be transferred to the prefrontal cortex. And how to behave with that particular situations, आपका motor area का functioning कौन करेगा? Motor area is going to help in the voluntary movement of the things. So it is going to help in the voluntary muscles movement. Voluntary muscles movement. Done voluntary actions जो आप खुद से कर रहे हो, मोटर एरिया है वो. गॉट द आइडिया? नाम से ही आपको याद आ जाएगा. 3 areas of the frontal area. 3 areas in the frontal lobe. Adrian, और क्या लोब है? What are the other lobes? What are the other lobes? Temporal lobe. Let's get into this. In temporal lobe, just close to this, opposite to this Broca's area, यहाँ पे, this is where olfactory lobe is present. क्या नाम है? Olfactory lobe is present. Come on, olfactory lobe मतलब?
Related to smelling.
Very olfaction way. Very good. Then there's another part over here which is called auditory lobe. क्या है इसका? Auditory मतलब helps in hearing. Auditory. तो ये हो गया auditory, ये हो गया olfactory. यहाँ पे there is another portion which we call it as Wernicke's area. I think last day we talked about this also. Wernicke's area. Wernicke's area. Now these three, let's talk about this three in the next page. Yeah, in the next page. चलो बना लेते हैं इसको. यहाँ पे एरिया, यहाँ पे क्या होगा? ये क्या बन गया? This is area, location and function. Area, location and function. Area, location and function. Okay. This is fourth one. The fourth one. The first is auditory. The second one is what? Olfactory. Sixth one. It's क्या है? Wernicke's area. Wernicke's apostrophe S. Wernicke's area. ठीक है? लोकेशन क्या होगा? ये तीनों क्या है? Temporal lobe. This is also temporal lobe. And this is also temporal lobe. So पहला thing क्या था? Frontal. Next thing क्या है? About temporal lobe. From the name itself, it helps in what? It suggests it helps in hearing sensations. Olfactory, tell me it helps in smelling. Olfactory, it helps in smelling sensations. Tell me about Wernicke's area. Last day we talked about that. Broca's area is the speech area. It's the area of speech. A speech center of the body. Understanding the speech or interpretation of speech. जब आपको कुछ बोला जा रहा है, आप कैसे समझ रहे हो? जब आप समझ रहे हो, कौन से पार्ट से समझ रहे हो आप? Wernicke's area is helping you for understanding of speech. Understanding of speech. Very, very important. Present where? In the temporal region. is also called as interpretation of speech. It also interprets interpretation of speech. Is this clear? बोलो समझ में आ रहा है क्या अंकिता? Is this clear बाबू? Great. Now और क्या बाकी रह गया? Tell me the area which is present. Parietal and occipital. Parietal. Let's talk about parietal. Let's talk about parietal. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about parietal. Again, area, lobe, area, location, and function. This is area, this is location, and this is function. Okay. 6 हो गया ना, अभी 7th. चलो एरिया थोड़ा देख लेते हैं. Let's talk about the area first. यहाँ पे in the parietal, just close to the central sulcus, in this area, there is an area which is called somasthetic area. Somasthetic, T-H-E, thetic area. Somasthetic area. And just close to, opposite to Wernicke's area. You can see there is one area present over here, which we call it as gustatory area or gustatory area. What is the meaning of gustation? Taste sensation. So these two are present in the parietal lobe. These two are present. This one and this one present in the parietal lobe. So this one is area first called as somasthetic area. And 8th one is gustatory area. Location parietal lobe, and this is also parietal lobe. Come on. Somasthetic area, its function is to, it helps in analysis of touch, pain, and pressure. So it helps in analysis of touch, pain, and pressure. Very, very important. Also again, आपको अगर आंख बंद करके किसी भी रूम में लेके जाया जाए तो आपको क्या समझ में आएगा? इस तरफ खिड़की है, इस तरफ ये है. Location in a particular area, understanding your location in a particular area is done by somasthetic area. बोलो समझ में आया क्या? Gustatory area का function क्या है? Its function is to help in taste sensations. It analyzes the taste sensations. ये आप जानते हो. Again, कौन सा बाकी रह गया? Which part is left now? Out of the 4 areas we have talked about, occipital. Occipital मतलब एकदम पीछे, occipital. ये bone भी occipital bone है, and the lobe is also called as occipital lobe. Now, occipital lobe का function क्या है? Vision. Very good. Only one function. It has got only one function. It helps in vision. So the 9th one is about area is visual area. अच्छा area को दिखा देते हैं ना. This is the area which is called as visual area. In the occipital lobe. So visual area present where? In the occipital lobe. And tell me, what is the function? The only function is vision. This is all about the whole of the cerebrum. We have talked about the 4 different lobes of the cerebrum. Clear, Babu? Any issues? समझ में आ गया ना? So let us get into the details of what NCERT has got to say. थोड़ा देख लेते हैं इसको. यहाँ पर कहीं doubt है? Do you have any doubt? What is when you study medical science? This is the real brain of a dead person where the back portion is being cut off. हेड का बैक साइड काटा गया है यहाँ पे. अब बोलो, you tell me, what is this section? See, ये बैक साइड है. This side has been cut off. ऐसे. This is here. ये पोर्शन क्या है? What is this portion? Yeah, skull. This portion is skull. This portion is skull, है ना? ये skull है. Skull. Then ये scalp है. You can see the scalp. Scalp. And then you can see a divisions like this. Okay? यहाँ पे क्या है? साइड में यहाँ पे ये कान है. ये कान है ना? यहाँ पे क्या होगा? Temporal bone. You know? Temporal. This is a temporal lobe. So temporal bone present over here. Can you see the dura mater? Outermost covering है. See the real picture of a dead body. Dead body's brain is being shown. Can you see this is ये ऊपर का layer peel किया गया है. It is being taken off. It's a white color structure. This white color structure is the outermost covering called dura mater. स्कैल को काटने के बाद क्या मिलेगा? What is the next layer inside? Meninges. Meninges का एकदम ऊपर का layer क्या है? So this is the dura mater. If you remove it, this is how it's going to look like. नीचे क्या है? नीचे arachnoid. Okay. आपने तीनों को निकाल दिया. You have taken out the whole meninges. अब क्या निकलेगा? अब क्या निकलेगा? Brain part, cerebrum का part. और नीचे की तरफ brain का part क्या है? Occipital lobe. Clear? ये देखो cerebellum यहाँ पे. ये देखो arachnoid अभी भी है यहाँ पे. Existence को काटा नहीं गया है. इसको निकाला नहीं गया है. This is a real face, real figure. Got the point? Now, समझ में आया बाबू? Just have a look. Arachnoid matter over medulla oblongata. ये यहाँ पे medulla oblongata है. Can you see this particular structure? Medulla oblongata यहाँ पे start है और then the brain stem starts off. ये है spinal cord. यहाँ से spinal cord नीचे की तरफ जाएगा. This is a view of this side. This portion being cut off. देखो. Clear? Yes, have a look. चलो क्या दिख रहा है यहाँ पे? हेयर्स. ये डिफरेंस रहता है रियल फिगर और पिक्चराइजेशन. सो पिक्चराइजेशन इज गोइंग टू मेक यू थियोरेटिकली वेरी गुड. आप मेडिकल कॉलेज में गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट मिलेगा आपको. थ्योरी पढ़ो. प्रैक्टिकल मत करो. पेशेंट को देखने मत जाओ. वेरी गुड डॉक्टर, गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट. प्रैक्टिस के लिए कौन सा चाहिए? आगे वाले फिगर से जितना प्यार करोगे उतना अच्छा आपका नॉलेज बढ़ेगा. अदरवाइज ऐसा नॉलेज बढ़ेगा. दिस इज हेयर, स्किन ऑफ स्कैल्प. दिस इज पेरिओस्टियम. टेल मी व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ पेरिओस्टियम? द आउटरमोस्ट कवरिंग ऑफ द बोन इज कॉल्ड पेरिओस्टियम. कौन बोलेगा? इट इज मेड अप ऑफ व्हाट काइंड ऑफ टिश्यूज? Periosteum is made up of what kind of tissue? It's a type of connective tissue. Tell me what kind of tissue it is made up of? Periosteum. Is it made of elastin or collagen? First you tell me that. Collagen. Every other peripheral part of the lungs made up of pleura, made up of collagen. Regular or irregular? Irregular. Got the point? So this is collagen. Bone of skull. So this is bone of skull. Then क्या है? Periosteal meningeal dura mater. देखो ये dura mater है. Then arachnoid. ये pia mater. इन तीनों में गैप है. Can you see the gap? There is a gap. इस गैप में क्या रहेगा? CSF रहेगा. Very good. And then there is a arachnoid villus. Villi क्या है? ऐसे structures है. Fine. उसको हम बाद में कहेंगे. क्या कहेंगे? We are going to call it as a plexus. Fine. यहाँ पे देखो blood vessel है. Blood vessel किसके नीचे? meninges के नीचे blood vessel. ये कौन सा part है? What is this part? Come on. What is this? Depression, sulcus. ये क्या है? Gyrus. ये क्या है? Sulcus. ये क्या है? Gyrus. ये क्या है? Sulcus. तो ये क्या आ गया? Gray matter आ गया. क्या आ गया ये? Gray matter. Got the point? Gray matter और meninges के बीच में blood vessel है, nerve है. Blood vessel है, nerve है. Any issues? Clear? अब देखो यहाँ पे विजन देखो. यहाँ पे सब arachnoid space देखो. यहाँ पे हाँ सबड्यूरल स्पेस देखो. यहाँ पे सबड्यूरल स्पेस. दोनों में क्या है? सेरिब्रो स्पाइनल फ्लूइड। समझ में आ रहा है क्या आपको? सेक्शन समझ में आ रहा है? आई थिंक इट्स क्लियर। रिदम क्रिस्टल क्लियर बाबा दुर्गा। चलो नेक्स्ट। The real brain and the figure of the brain, the picture of the brain, handmade and the reality. ब्रेन को काटा गया है। दिस इज व्हाट? फ्रंटल लोब, सामने की तरफ ये ऐसे काटा गया है। सो व्हाट इज दिस पोर्शन? टेल मी व्हाट इज दिस पोर्शन? यस, या ऑक्सीपिटल, वेरी गुड। चलो ठीक से देखो। हाँ, ये फिगर मैं अभी दिखाऊंगा आपको। ये क्या लग रहा है? व्हाट इज दिस? कम ऑन, ये क्या है? ये क्या है? व्हाट इज दिस? कम ऑन, गायरी एंड सेल्सी, वेरी गुड, गायरी एंड सेल्सी। अच्छा यहां पे कुछ, कैन यू सी सम व्हाइट पोर्शन? व्हाइट पोर्शन एंड ग्रे पोर्शन। ग्रे पोर्शन बाहर की तरफ है, व्हाइट पोर्शन अंदर की तरफ है। एंड यू जस्ट लुक दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, यहां पे ऐसा हॉर्नी स्ट्रक्चर है ऐसे। ये रियलिटी देखो, रियलिटी देखो, यहां पे ऐसा। अब भी देखेंगे आपको जब फिगर दिखाएंगे, व्हेन आई विल शो यू रियल फिगर, यू टू अंडरस्टैंड इसके अंदर क्या रहता है। सीएसएफ क्या रहता है? दिस इज द ब्लू वन। देखो रियलिटी, ये है ना, ये पिक्चर ऐसा है ना इसका, रियलिटी का पिक्चर देखो ये। हाँ, कैन यू सी द कॉर्डेट न्यूक्लियस? ये कॉर्डेट न्यूक्लियस, क्या बोलते हैं इसका? कॉर्डेट न्यूक्लियस। ये देखो कैसे पता चलेगा? थ्योरी तो आपने पढ़ लिया, यू हैव स्टडीड इन थ्योरी, दिस इज द फिगर, बट इन द रियल लाइफ व्हेन यू सी द ब्रेन, हाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड? इसके पास वाला स्ट्रक्चर ये होगा कॉर्डेट न्यूक्लियस। देखो कॉर्डेट न्यूक्लियस आपने सुना, आई थिंक यू हैव हर्ड अबाउट इन क्लास 10, यू हैव हर्ड अबाउट इन हार्ट दे हैव वेंट्रिकल्स। हैव यू हर्ड वेंट्रिकल्स इन द ब्रेन? Ventricles do have, means brain do have ventricles in them. There are 4 ventricles in the brain. और यहां पे देखो एक टर्म दिया गया है, थर्ड वेंट्रिकल। कैन यू सी दिस? थर्ड वेंट्रिकल यहां पे, थर्ड वेंट्रिकल यहां पे। सो फर्स्ट वेंट्रिकल कहां पे? यहां पे फर्स्ट वेंट्रिकल, ये सेकंड वेंट्रिकल। तो ये फर्स्ट वेंट्रिकल है, this second ventricle, this is the third ventricle, and joins with the fourth ventricle, जो यहां पे दिखाया नहीं गया है, but this is the fourth ventricle. So ये दोनों कौन सा वेंट्रिकल होगा? Lateral ventricle। क्या होगा? Lateral ventricle. So this is, these are 2 lateral ventricle. This is first ventricle, this is the second ventricle, and these 2 joins with the third one. These 2 joins with the third one. These 2 joins with the third one. I'm going to show you this figure. This is the ventricle of the brain, first, second. What are you going to call these 2 as? There are 2 of them are called lateral ventricles. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Lateral ventricles. This is the third ventricle. Third ventricle. Third ventricle. तो यहाँ पे 1 और 2 ventricle नहीं, क्या आता है? क्या आता है? कहाँ क्या आता है? Lateral ventricle. They are called as lateral ventricles. 2 of the ventricles join with the third ventricle by a foramen. Tell me the name of the foramen. What is the meaning of foramen? It's a pore. So 2 lateral ventricles joins with the third ventricle by a foramen called foramen of Monro. Foramen of Monro. यहां तक clear है? Is this clear? Is this clear? ठीक है। This third ventricle, and this is fourth ventricle. This is what? Fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle. और fourth ventricle के बाद, tell me what is this rhythm? What is this? Spinal cord. It's a beginning of the spinal cord. So ye is clear. Now, third ventricle joins with the fourth ventricle by another foramen. Third ventricle joins with the fourth ventricle by another foramen, and this foramen is called foramen of Iter. Foramen of Iter, also called as aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius. मैं अभी सिल्वियन फिशर का नाम बोला था मैंने. Aqueduct of Sylvius is the other term for this foramen. So third ventricle joins with the fourth ventricle by foramen of Iter or aqueduct of Sylvius. So what is the function of this ventricle? Do these ventricles contains valves just like in heart? No, there is no valve. And what travels? What travels? Cerebrospinal fluid. कौन बोलेगा what is the function of cerebrospinal fluid? Absorption, shock absorber. Very good. और कुछ? Buoyancy. Balancing. No. Buoyancy. No. It helps in maintaining what? The brain structure, because it pushes. Every time 20 ml of 20 milliliter per day is being formed every day. It gives nourishment to the brain cells, number one. Number two, it makes what? It acts as a mechanical shock absorber. यहाँ तक ठीक है? Also, ये cerebrospinal fluid आपके lumbar region से निकाला जाता है, which we call it as a lumbar puncture, to see if the patient is suffering from any type of viral meningitis or not. So what is the term called? Lumbar puncture. Lumbar is what? A part of the vertebral column. A part of the vertebral column is lumbar. So lumbar region के अंदर इंजर करके CSF निकाल के उसको टेस्ट किया जाता है. So this is the ventricles. These are called as the ventricles of the brain. Okay, let's come back. This is the area just now I was talking about. जल्दी से देखो. Hearing, occipital, hearing, gustatory cortex, taste, somatic sensations, somasthetic area, Wernicke's area. Then this is frontal, prefrontal cortex, Broca's area. यहाँ पे देखो Broca's area. See, prefrontal cortex, very very important. जो आपको अभी पढ़ा रहा है, your learning center is prefrontal cortex area. Think about it. You're memorizing things by the help of prefrontal area. This is gustatory area. Fine. And this is the primary auditory area, audition. Then Wernicke's area, you can see it over here. What is not being shown over here is about the sulcus. Central sulcus is not being shown. Rhonaldic sulcus is not being shown. But this is what? ये आपका cerebrum है. This is your cerebrum. What is this portion? Come on. What is this portion? Spinal cord is starting from here, which we call it as a brain stem. क्या कहते हैं उसको? Brain stem. We are going to talk about that later. Just have a look a bit. थोड़ा देखो इसको. Can you see this figure? What is this figure? कौन बोलेगा ये क्या है? It's a joining between two cerebral hemisphere. क्या है वो? Corpus callosum. Brain को ऐसे दिखाया गया है काटने के बाद. Fine. So this is it. This portion is, you can easily see it. This is the gyrus portion and this is the white matter. This is the white matter. Fine. Your olfactory area. This is the olfactory area. ठीक है? I'm going to send this in your group. No issues. और देख लेना बाद में जाकर. Yes. देखो कुछ समझ में आ रहा है अभी? Now it is very clear. The blue one. What is the blue one? ये कौन सा फिगर है? Yes. समझ में आ रहा है क्या? हाँ? Two are first, second. These two are lateral ventricle. Two lateral ventricle. Come on. Third ventricle joined with. है यहाँ पे information? Joined with foramen, interventricular foramen. What is this foramen called? Aqueduct? No, foramen of Monro. Two lateral ventricles join with the third one with foramen of Monro. And then the third joins with the fourth. Fourth ventricle is over here. Fourth ventricle. The third joins with fourth by, what is it? Cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct. Aqueduct of Sylvius, or otherwise called as foramen of Iter. See, where is Iter? You can see Iter present over here. Where is Iter? Iter is not being given. Cerebral aqueduct is also called as what? Foramen of Iter. Foramen of Iter. So how many foramen we have talked about now? How many foramen we have talked about now? 2. But you are yet to hear 2 other foramen in the brain, especially in the middle part of the brain. And those 2 foramen are, anybody in this class can tell me? Foramen of Luschka and foramen of Magendie. Foramen of Luschka and foramen of Magendie. Foramen of Magendie. Foramen of Luschka and foramen of Magendie. Clear? Now, this is about a brain. I think थोड़ा सा जा रहा है आपके इसके बाहर, NCERT के बाद थोड़ा सा जा रहा है. I'm going to again come back to the NCERT because अब आपको बहुत easy लगेगा NCERT में जो लिखा हुआ है. Is this clear बाबू? समझ में आया क्या? Yes. Yes. चलो देखो इधर. इतना अच्छा एक फिगर है, देखो यहाँ पे. This is going to help you understand it. बोलो ये क्या है? What is this? Rhythm, tell me. What is this? क्या ये? Only a tube. कब? अभी या आपके एम्ब्रायनिक स्टेज में? During your embryonic stage. ऐसा ट्यूब था. ऐसा बैलून तो आप मेले में जाकर खरीदते हो, जिससे बंदर का पूंछ बनाया जाता है. Remember? हाँ? Yes. अब यहां से आप इन्फ्लेट करो, यहां से इन्फ्लेट करो, हवा भरो, तो बल्ज होगा. बल्ज होगा. 3 बल्ज हुए हैं ना पहले. क्या है ये? पहला वाला प्रोजेंसेफेलॉन, that is forebrain. The middle one mesencephalon. Third one rhombencephalon. थोड़ा सा और हवा भरा, क्या बन गया ये? telencephalon. This is called cerebrum. This is called cerebrum. What is this? Diencephalon. यही वाला classified into 2. And then this is a mesencephalon which remains like that. But think about, one is metencephalon and one is myelencephalon. Metencephalon brainstem, pons and cerebellum together called brainstem. Pons and cerebellum together called brainstem. आज के बाद what is brainstem? Understand this. Brainstem मतलब hindbrain का तीनों पोर्शन नहीं है. You have to exclude medulla oblongata. You have to exclude medulla oblongata normally. But when we talk about the whole of the rhombencephalon, then only we can call it as a medulla oblongata. So medulla brainstem में pons and cerebellum, pons and medulla, both of them are called as brainstem. और ये metencephalon का part है. See, pons and cerebellum, both of the part of the metencephalon. Myelencephalon is what? Medulla oblongata. If you see the ventricles कहाँ पे present है? The lateral ventricles are present where? In the forebrain. Lateral ventricle present where? In the forebrain. Third ventricle. Lateral ventricles and third ventricle, both of them present where? In the forebrain. But if you talk about only lateral ventricles, they are present where? In the cerebrum. In the cerebrum. Then third brain present where? In the diencephalon. Cerebral aqueduct. What is it? Third brain and fourth brain. It's the connection between third brain and fourth brain. Cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius. Aqueduct of Sylvius is the other term for foramen of Iter. Good. And then there is a fourth ventricle. See. So third ventricle को join कौन कर रहा है? With the fourth ventricle. Cerebral aqueduct or aqueduct of Sylvius, otherwise called as foramen of Iter. समझ में आया क्या? ये क्या है? क्या स्टार्ट हुआ? स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, सेंट्रल कैनाल. समझ में आया क्या? दिस इज हाउ योर ब्रेन बीइंग फॉर्म्ड ड्यूरिंग योर अर्ली एम्ब्रायनिक स्टेज. आपका 2 वीक का ब्रेन ये है, थर्ड वीक का ब्रेन थोड़ा सा डेवलप होकर ये बना. ठीक है, चलो. अगेन इन द वेरी अर्लियर स्टेज ऑफ द ब्रेन, देखो पूरा ट्यूब देखो. पूरा ट्यूब वो मेले का बैलून जैसा ही है, ये बजर पोर्शन टेलेंसेफेलॉन, ठीक है। डायंसेफेलॉन देखो इधर, ये देखो यहाँ पे मेडेनकेफेलॉन एंड माइलेनकेफेलॉन, ये मेडेनकेफेलॉन है, हाँ, ये मेसेनकेफेलॉन, इसके बाद मेडेनकेफेलॉन एंड माइलेनकेफेलॉन, दोनों मिलकर क्या बन गया, हाइंड ब्रेन, क्लियर। देन मिड ब्रेन, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, फ्लेक्सस स्टार्ट हुआ 5th वीक का, कितना वीक, 5th वीक। आपका ब्रेन 5th वीक का ब्रेन लुक्ड लाइक दिस, क्लियर, यस। 13 वीक का देखो ब्रेन, दुर्वा टेल मी व्हाट इज द चेंज यू कैन सी, किसमें चेंज मिला आपको, विच पार्ट ऑफ द ब्रेन में आपको इंक्रीज इन साइज मिला, टेलेंसेफेलॉन इंक्रीज कर रहा है, देखो टेलेंसेफेलॉन इंक्रीज कर रहा है, देखो सेरेब्रल हेमिस्फीयर, आउटर ऑफ डायंसेफेलॉन, मिड ब्रेन, सेरिबेलम, पॉन्स, मेडुला ऑब्लांगाटा, देखो ये सेरिबेलम है, ये पॉन्स है, ये मेडुला ऑब्लांगाटा है, देन स्पाइनल कॉर्ड। See this, this is cerebellum, this is small one pons, and this is the medulla oblongata, this is the 13th week brain. 13th week brain is like this. समझ में आया क्या? चलो विशाल 26th week, कितना मंथ, 4th month, close to 4th month, है ना, क्लोज टू 4th मंथ। आपका ब्रेन का साइज देखो 4th मंथ। टेल मी द इंक्रीज अगेन, विच पार्ट हैज बीन इंक्रीज्ड ह्यूजली, सेरिब्रम, ठीक, सेरिब्रल हेमिस्फीयर का हाल देखो, दिस इज सेरिबेलम, दिस इज पॉन्स एंड दिस इज द मेडुला ऑब्लांगाटा एंड देन दिस इज द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, क्लियर। कैन यू सी दिस स्ट्रक्चर्स, कम ऑन, व्हाट आर दिस स्ट्रक्चर्स कॉल्ड, ये स्ट्रक्चर्स क्या है, कम ऑन, ये क्या है, what is this, gyri answer, very good, very good. The more the curves, the more the gyri sulci, the more is the IQ level. During your birth, this is what whole of the, think about how many gyri and sulci, think about, it's completely packed up, cerebral hemisphere, this is the one part, diencephalon, cerebellum is side, brainstem, that means यहाँ पे pons, ये pons, ये medulla oblongata, clear. So during birth, now before we get into this, इसको समझने के लिए थोड़ा आपको ये दिखा दें। In your book there is a term called limbic system, है नहीं है, limbic system is there in your book. So neural system, limbic system. When we talk about limbic system, we talk about two structures. One is amygdala and one is hippocampus. Any type of emotions, sexual desire, rage, fear, these are all what? Emotions, one type of emotions, rage, fear. Done by what? Amygdala. You're taking decisions out of emotions. कौन करेगा ये? Amygdala. Love, fear, rage, anger. Come on. Amygdala center is going to get activated. got the समझ में आएगी ये? Hippocampus is the area which gets all the sensory inputs and helps you to understand ये पहले क्या क्या हुआ था, to help you decide अब इस सिचुएशन में क्या करना है. So it's complete emotions. ये दोनों एक साथ they work together. Hippocampus and amygdala center. I don't think ये अलग से बुक में लिखा हुआ है. I think amygdala is there, but hippocampus is not there. Is there? What is being written over there in the hippocampus? What is being shared? Adrian? Only names are mentioned, not the functions. देखो यहाँ पे. You see this prefrontal. This is amygdala center. देखो यहाँ पे. Have a look. This is amygdala center. Smell आया? स्मेल कहां से आता है? which part of the brain? Olfaction. Which part? Temporal. Olfaction. Taste. Parietal. Taste. Parietal. कहां पे आ गया? Amygdala center. Fine. And this is the hippocampus. ये जो स्ट्रक्चर है अंदर, this is the hippocampus. See, vision, hearing. अब यहां पे देखो, all the sensory inputs, जो आप देख रहे हो, sensation आ रहा है, it can be smell, it can be vision, every other sensory inputs coming on and activating cortical sensory area. From this cortical sensory area, it's activating both of them, amygdala and hippocampus together. Then this is going to give the information to diencephalon. ये क्या है? 80% diencephalon में 80% of the diencephalon is thalamus. Is what? Thalamus. Diencephalon में कितना पार्ट है? There are two parts of diencephalon. One is hypothalamus and one is thalamus. 80% of the diencephalon is made up of what? Thalamus. So it gives the information to the prefrontal cortex. That means आपके बुक में थोड़ा सा इंफॉर्मेशन है कि sensory inputs come straight away to the prefrontal cortex. But किस तरह से जाता है prefrontal cortex में? Directly नहीं जाता. It never goes directly. It goes via cortical sensory area, amygdala and hippocampus, and then diencephalon. Sometimes you control your emotions and दिमाग से काम लगाते हो, है ना? हाँ, गुड. दिमाग से काम लगाते हो, इस इमोशन में क्या करना चाहिए? प्रीफ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स इज द एरिया जहां से आप सोच के आप देन यू डू द एक्टिविटी. बेसल फोरब्रेन, देन इट गोज टू बेसल फोरब्रेन. और बेसल फोरब्रेन से कहां पे जाता है? कॉर्टिकल सेंसरी एरिया. दिस इज हाउ इट गोज. सी, दिस इज द पाथवे. I was talking about caudate nucleus. समझ गया? Which part? Caudate nucleus याद है? हाँ? This is the portion one. और इसके पास ये देखो caudate nucleus. A corpus stratum, very very important for all the understanding of what is taking place in your environment. आपके आसपास में क्या चल रहा है? कभी ऐसा हुआ? कभी आपके लाइफ में ऐसा हुआ? Suddenly you are on साइकिल, आप साइकिल से आ रहे हो इंस्टीट्यूशन पे, सडनली आपको सामने कुछ भीड़ मिला एंड यू डिसाइडेड कि सामने जाना नहीं है. यू ऑन योर कार एंड सडनली वहां पे कुछ मॉब, यू कैन सी सम मॉब. हाँ, हाईवे में जा रहे हो तो कभी ऐसा हो गया था, हाईवे से जा रहे थे और सडनली 1 किलोमीटर दूर में दिख रहा है समथिंग हैज हैपेंड और कुछ धुआं निकल रहा है. बोलो क्या आएगा? और टिल डेट ऑल द मूवीज दैट यू हैव वॉच्ड ऑन आएगा ना पिक्चर. ऐसा पिक्चर पहले भी देख लिया था. आई थिंक इट्स एन एक्सीडेंट. एंड देखा कि बहुत सारे कार का या गाड़ी है उनका बैकलाइट जल गया. दैट मीन्स दे आर पुटिंग ऑन ब्रेक. हाई स्पीड में सब जा रहे हैं. वी आर इनटू 120, 130, 140. And then we stopped the car. Suddenly, I stopped the car, started coming back in that lane. मतलब all the cars are moving towards me and I'm going back. तो मुझे बैक करते देखते जब सब देख रहे हैं, so they stopped over there. They started coming back. उसके बाद दूसरा कुछ रास्ता लेकर we went down to our destination. बाद में next day जब पेपर में, न्यूज़पेपर में वो खबर आया, इट वॉज अ मैसिव एक्सीडेंट. बाबा अब बोलो यहां पे क्या था? इनपुट्स बोलो. विजुअल इनपुट्स क्या? बिकॉज इतना दूर से समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा है, पर इतना जोर से धक्का लगा कि गाड़ी में आग लग गया. 4 of them died on spot क्योंकि एक टैंकर में जाकर मारा था पीछे से. आग लग गया गाड़ी में पहले, पीछे वाला. उसके बाद टैंकर वाज ऑन फायर. टैंकर का ड्राइवर निकल के भाग गया, वो बच गया. आसपास से कुछ गाड़ी जल गए बिकॉज आग फैल गया. थिंक अबाउट इट नाउ. व्हाट इज इट? सेंसरी इनपुट्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ व्हाट? विजुअल. क्योंकि आवाज से कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बहुत दूर है. ठीक है बाबू, समझ में आ रही है? सो दैट्स इट. ओके. अरे बाबा, ये है. चलो, हो गया, सब कुछ मिल गया आपको. फ्रंटल लोब, मोटर एरिया, प्री मोटर एरिया, एसोसिएशन एरिया, ब्रोकास एरिया, मोटर स्पीच एरिया. थोड़ा देख लो यहाँ पे. सो मोटर एरिया कंट्रोल्स वॉलंटरी मूवमेंट्स ऑफ द मसल्स. प्री मोटर एरिया कहां पे है? फ्रंटल लोब में. प्री मोटर area, the highest center for involuntary movements of the muscles and autonomic nervous system. It also activates autonomic nervous system. Association area involved in memory, learning and reasoning. Fine. It also helps in coordination of sensation and movements. Broca's area, motor speech area. Parietal lobe में क्या है? Somatic area, perceptions of general sensations like pain, touch, temperature and pressure. Gustatory area, sense of taste. Left part of parietal lobe, speech. ये क्या होगा? इसका क्या नाम होगा? अच्छा, a small section यहां पे है, पैरल लोब में है फॉर स्पीच. टेम्पोरल लोब, olfactory area, auditory area, Wernicke's area. स्मेल, हियरिंग एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग द स्पीच. एंड एक ही है ऑक्सीपिटल लोब में, क्या है ये? विजुअल एरिया, सेंसेशन ऑफ लाइट और विजन. क्लियर? चलो, ये बहुत कुछ देख लिया. ये आई थिंक वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट दिस. क्लियर? क्या ये? व्हाट इज इट? कुछ दिख रहा है? And you know this? क्या है? अभी दिखाया. What is this figure is all about? Lateral ventricles. We are talking about ventricles. एकदम ventricle के टिप में ऐसा, एकदम ventricle के टिप में ये क्या है? Olfactory lobe. ये क्या है? Olfactory lobe. Tell me, आपका olfactory lobe कैसा है? It gets activated only on Sunday when mutton is being cooked by your mother. Otherwise उसका कोई काम नहीं है. आपसे ज्यादा नहीं, 130 टाइम्स इंप्रूव्ड वर्जन है. किसके पास? डॉग के पास. 130 टाइम्स. क्लियर? अप्रोक्सीमेटली 130 टाइम्स इंप्रूव्ड है. और फिर लोग हमारे इंप्रूव नहीं है. फाइन. इज कॉल्ड राइनो. व्हाट इज द स्टडी ऑफ नोज कॉल्ड? जानते हो ना? जी क्या होता है आपके? यही परफेक्ट टाइम है आपके ये होने में. राइनाइटिस. राइनाइटिस मतलब क्या है? इन्फ्लामेशन है ना. गंगा पानी छिड़क छिड़क होता है ना कभी, रनिंग नोज. या चलो गया. सो दिस इज व्हाट? लैटरल वेंट्रिकल. व्हाट इज दिस? सी व्हाट इज इट? फोरामेन ऑफ मोनरो. इट कनेक्ट्स टू लैटरल वेंट्रिकल्स विद द थर्ड वेंट्रिकल. फोरामेन ऑफ मोनरो. ये मोनरो में ई चला आएगा तो अच्छा है. फोरामेन ऑफ मोनरो, ई साइलेंट. थर्ड वेंट्रिकल कनेक्टेड विद द फोर्थ वेंट्रिकल. कनेक्टेड विद द fourth ventricle by foramen of Eiter, otherwise called as aqueduct of Sylvius. Clear? Now we are not going to get into this. This is about ये दूसरा बात है. So let's come back. तो क्या पढ़ लिया हमने? What we have talked about? We have talked about this. We have talked about forebrain. We have talked about forebrain. We have covered the cerebrum portion. Forebrain, two types. One is it's having two parts. One is cerebrum, and one is diencephalon. Diencephalon. One is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus. क्या ऐड कर सकते थे यहाँ पे? एपिथैलेमस ऐड कर सकते थे, बट ये जो बहुत ज्यादा इवॉल्व नहीं है ह्यूमन. hypothalamus and this last one is thalamus. Thalamus constitutes 80% of the functioning of the diencephalon. Hypothalamus, इसका function lastly we have talked about. The four main functions of it. Tell me the four main functions. Hypothalamus, appetite, seat of hunger, hunger center. It acts as a hunger center, acts as a thirst center. Then osmotic balance, maintenance of osmotic balance, and tell me the last one. Temperature regulation. Temperature regulation is the most important one. And yes, one major event is about neurosecretory cells. They have got neurosecretory cells which can secrete hypothalamic hormones. Hypothalamic. Yes, who is going to tell me one of the hormones which is being released from hypothalamus to activate, to help secretion of some P3 hormones? GN, RH. Gonadotropin releasing hormone. We're going to talk about that in the next chapter called neuroendocrine system. That is chemical coordination and chemical control and coordination. We're going to talk about that. So hypothalamus to some extent they have got neurosecretory cells. We're going to talk about that. Okay. Babu, यहाँ तक clear है? Thalamus का function क्या है? Thalamus का function, it helps in getting all the sensory inputs. It helps in getting all the sensory inputs of your body. Okay. So this is about thalamus. So what next day what we're going to start is we're going to start with the midbrain. We're going to start with the midbrain. Midbrain. Other term is what? Mesencephalon. Tell me what is the first part? Corpora quadrigemina. Corpora quadrigemina. What is the other one? Crura cerebri, otherwise called as cerebral peduncle. Cerebral peduncle. We will talk about that next. Clear? Any issues? यहाँ तक बोलो कोई problem है कि नहीं? You got any doubt about this? Fine. So forebrain is over. Next day we will talk about mesencephalon. We will talk about midbrain and hindbrain. We are going to complete, and we are going to start with the spinal cord in the next day. That is our plan. Spinal cord तक खत्म कर देंगे. So this part, central nervous system will be over, and then we are going to talk about the next part. What is called? What is the other term? Central nervous system, and other one is what? Peripheral nervous system. We are going to start with that. ठीक है जी? Sure. That's it.